Let's blast off. Let's get fucking started. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot going on in the world, okay? We got a lot going on in the world, folks. Final Pennsylvania poll. Harris up 5 on September 16th. From Quinnipiac. October 7th, Harris was up 2. And October 28th, Trump is up 2. Net 7 swing in Trump's direction. Why you gotta show this to me, man? Kyle looks so dead. Does she have an energy-filled day? Yes. She finally we went back to the gym, so like she finally got to play with all of her friends. So guys, margin of error. We'll see what happens. I will vote. I will vote for Donald Trump. Oh my God. It's so catchy. That's why Trump is fucking clapping, dude. That's why Donald Trump is clapping in fucking Pennsylvania right now. That song came out 4 years ago and he just busted that out like the nuclear option. Anyway, let's blast off and let's get started. Kamala distances herself from Joe after Biden correctly calls Trump supporters trash. MSG fallout continues. Polls. Get in now. Okay. Anyone have a freaking... Does anyone have a freaking blast off meme? Did you mean to keep guessing the title? No, I did not. I'll delete that right now. What is this? Intergalactic Space Emperor Zelgor? No, I'm not going to use that as a blast off meme, Oliver. Okay. Please add this as a blast off text. Happy birthday, Nikki Bigelow. Are you okay? Why are you fucking spamming this shit nonstop in the chat? You all right? Calm down. You're too big to take off your shirt sexy like. You just got to tear it off like the Hulk. Okay. I would vote for Donald Trump. I will vote. Oh my God. I need to stop. I can't get it out of my fucking head. I can't. I'm so cooked. I'm so fucking cooked. I can't get it out of my goddamn head, dude, no matter what. Elon is the greatest entrepreneur of our generation. He working with Trump will revolutionize the country for real. Yeah, dude, totally. Yeah, Henry Ford with Adolf Hitler. He really is running the fucking... He really is running the Adolf Hitler, Henry Ford route, like, to a T. It's kind of wild. Dude, history quite literally is repeating itself. It's crazy. I mean... And it didn't take that long. Like it's not like it took that long for us to be like, this Hitler stuff, man. Let's just run it back. Let's see what the fuck's going on. Let's see what's good. Let's see what's good with this Hitler shit. Is not what I thought we would be at this fast, you know? Yeah, I was, of course, correct when I said Harris will break away from Biden over garbage comment about Trump supporters after reluctance to distance herself. Oh. Awesome polling from I forget where on TV they said both Trump Kamala could win popular vote with all margins. Do you think it's correct? Maybe. What are you saying? CNN gigacopium overdose. New CNN poll show Wisconsin Harris up 6. Michigan Harris up 5. Pennsylvania Harris Trump dead heat. Goddamn. Biden said it to force her to break away from him. Yeah. No. All right. Who else is supposed to protect Republicans from evil Joe Brandon? Yeah. Kamala be like, I'm going to defend you Republicans from my administration. Like this is what it took for her to break away. She could have broken away. Over and over again, but like, nope, this is when it did. This is when it happened. Yeah, I saw this clip. It's going viral all over the fucking internet. Anna, it's sad. It's sad to see like what has become of Anna Kasparian's commentary. I don't know why she's doing this. I think she like, people will immediately say, oh, she's grifting. I think it's sadder if it's genuine. Like, and I think it's genuine. Like, I think she has like experienced a lot of ideological shifts that started off with like, I think homelessness and crime, like leaning into crime panic stuff and then moving on to the trans panic stuff. And now she's just doing this thing, like running defense for Trump's fascism. Like, that's crazy. I am proud of my unc though, for standing up for what he believes. Let's take a look at what this clip
fascist.
looked like.
Because look, if we're just gonna use fascist toward anyone we dislike, all right, then the word doesn't actually mean anything.
Okay, what do you want me to say, Anna?
Like, if you cannot call Trump a fascist, there is no reason to use the word. We should not learn about fascism in school. We should not learn about genocides. We should not learn about the Holocaust. We should not learn about like how we got to this point in history, because like that's it. Like he's a fucking fascist. Like, what do you mean? This motherfucker wants to do concentration camps, dude. What are you saying? Like, what are we doing? What are you saying? It doesn't make any sense. It genuinely does not make any sense. This is gonna get clip chimped. No, dude. It's just like, if you don't consider Donald Trump to be a fascist, I don't know what to tell you. Like, what do you think is a fascist?
You want me to say wannabe dictator?
Sure, you can say wannabe dictator, but I don't even think he wants to be a dictator.
Of course he does. That's what you do when you lose an election and you go, oh, I got a fake election.
He's right. Oh, that's so funny. Oh no. Oh God, I'm so unk-pilled right now. So of course he does.
Electors, and I'd like to terminate the Constitution and bring out the tanks and use martial law against American citizens and shoot protesters. I mean, if that's not fascist, then I guess the word just shouldn't exist.
But was he able to do those things?
Oh, dude, sorry. Excuse me, officer. I know that like I went into a bank with a gun, okay? And I said, put the money in the bag, please. And then they put the money in the bag, but then on the way out of the bank, I actually slipped on a banana peel and fell. Technically, I didn't extract all of the dollars out of the bank. I am not a bank robber. That's fine. Please do not call me a bank robber, because guess what? I failed in robbing the bank. Like, what are we doing here? When it comes to the term fascist, like, if your entire worldview revolves around ultra nationalist sentiments, like, and the abolition, the complete fucking deportation of like an entire, like tens of millions of people that are currently living on US soil, like that's it. That's Adolf Hitler. What are we doing? That's Adolf Hitler. That's it. The fuck? He's literally saying he wants to use the military against the enemy from within. That is Adolf Hitler, okay? That does not make sense. It doesn't, dude. This is why I'm like mad about the Democrats being like, don't call Trump supporters trash. It's like, what are you saying? They're doing Nazi rallies at the place where they did a Nazi rally in 1939. They are Nazis. They're saying Nazi things at the Nazi rally. What the fuck?
Trump's
his rhetoric is awful.
Okay, if you don't want to be called fascist, stop saying fascist things. It's not that hard.
Thank you.
Not that hard. Oh, here, let me have dinner with Nick Fuentes, who's a Nazi, Kanye, who's a Nazi, and let me say there's good people on the Nazi side. Oh, it could be pro-Confederate guys. Might be guys who are pro-slavery.
He's right. He's right. Unk is cooking. Unk is cooking. He's right. I'm glad that he's like, he hasn't lost the sauce on this part, because, you know, he's a little bit of a crime guy too. But goddamn, dude, that's why I'm writing Cenk Uygur on the ballot.
Who are good guys. Let me do all of these things. Let me say that immigrants are poisoning the blood of our nation, a Nazi term that is only used in the past by Nazis, and then say I'm gonna ban Muslims, I'm gonna do this and this and this to all the other ethnic groups, and then go, oh, I can't believe you called me a fascist. No, he is a fascist. I'm very happy to call him a fascist.
All right, there.
All right, I'm not gonna get back into it.
Dude, oh God. I love this man. That's Unk, man. That's Unk. He went hard. He went fucking hard. I don't think Anna is pro-fascist. I think she's just become like more of a centrist with right-leaning associations as time has continued, due to a metric ton of criticism and feedback and backlash that she has received from the left. It cooked, I think, a lot of people's brains get fried when they divert even a little bit from like whatever the leftist progressive position is, right? And most people don't have any way of like dealing with that in a normal fashion, where they just like, the moment that, because they're getting shit on. I know Anna. I've known Anna for 20 fucking years, okay? She got shit on her entire life by the right. Like nonstop, doxing, death threats, rape threats, all this shit, right? So when you're doing that for like 25 fucking years, okay? When you're doing that for 20 plus years and you're constantly getting fucking bullied and you feel like, you know, you can't even get support from the left, right? You can't even get like the support that you think you deserve in the left because you have disagreements with other people who are like prominently online, extremely online on the left, whatever. It just like fries your brain where you're like, what the fuck am I doing this for? And the difference is like you have to be an incredibly stubborn person to just go, I don't give a fuck what people say. I'm still gonna fucking advocate for the things I'm advocating for. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And I think that like slowly but surely she got like crime pilled, okay? And people were like very upset with her over that. And then she got like transphobia pilled a little bit with like the birthing person stuff. And I think it's just like basically fried her brain. And it's sad to see, but it happens, you know? Can't imagine what a reasonable person would end up looking like to someone like that. Guys, I don't like the only reason why I'm saying all this is because like I know where she's coming from. Like I know I don't agree with her, and she has attacked me consistently throughout the years. And my response always is like, I hope she's doing all right. I hope she's doing all right. You know, we have our disagreements. It is what it is. But like, you have to understand, she's in a very unique predicament. Okay. Like there are not that many independent voices on the left, right? And this is what TYT was for a very long time when that space was incredibly lonely. Okay? When that space was just fucking lonely. And that's it. So I think it like cooked her a little bit. I think it fried her a little bit. That's what happened. And now, and slowly but surely, I think what ends up happening is like slowly but surely, you just let the reactionary part of your brain that believes certain nonsensical positions like take over. You know, that's it. Anyway. Hassan, you can't just call someone who's ultra nationalistic with a fascist ideology a Nazi. Come on, those people are pretty bad. Yeah, exactly. It's just like so stupid. It's so fucking stupid. Anyway. Regarding her saying he hasn't even done any of the fascist stuff yet, if there's one thing we know about Trump is that he took the failed J6 insurrection in stride and decided to surround himself with people who would keep him more grounded and sensible, so it will never happen again. Yeah, I don't think the second January 6th situation is likely due to the fact that it happened once and like we saw that there was deterrence, you know, to a certain degree. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know what will happen. Do you ever worry as you age you'll turn slightly reactionary too? How do you avoid it? I don't know. I feel like I've stayed solidly. Like I have stayed my ground on these on the opinions that I hold, you know, regardless of the endless amounts of attacks. Trump's message on Lebanon. During my administration, we had peace in the Middle East, and we will have peace again very soon. I will fix the problems caused by Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I want to see the Middle East turn into a real peace, real lasting peace, and we will get it done properly, so it doesn't repeat itself every 5 to 10 years. I will preserve the equal. This is like catnip, by the way, for like dummies. The way that he's presenting this is so perfect for the dumbest guy you know, who will absolutely believe this. You know what I mean? I will vote for Donald Trump. How did no one ever goes, you were already in office for 4 years, why didn't you do so then? Because Americans have short-term memory loss, and that benefits Donald Trump. Like they don't remember what it was like when he was president. They only remember what it was like, or what it is currently right now with Joe Biden as president. That's a major problem in this election. Like that benefits Donald Trump quite spectacularly. In my opinion, we have this capacity to feel nostalgic, you know, Biden did say that. That's when they started saying it to Kalama. What? Americans' brains were rotted immediately after COVID. That's why no one remembers shit. I think that's another reason too. What is this? This is an open coup. Oh, I can't see it. It's been deleted already. I'm surprised no one made the point of how bad Trump did with COVID. U.S. is the worst. Dude, not only did we not talk about how bad Trump did with COVID, not only did people forget about like how badly Trump fucked up COVID, but also Kamala Harris on stage literally outflanked Trump on the COVID regulations and was like talking about how Trump fucked up COVID in the opposite direction, where he was like too restrictive. I think we have forgotten what the Kamala camp was, what their perspective was overall. You know? The new Kasparian tweet is even more brain dead. Okay, fine, I'll bite. Fascism requires a militarized citizenry, conquest, imperialism, the elimination of our governing bodies like Congress, and the notion that anyone who isn't part of a massive race should be massacred. Weird thing to label a guy who brags about not starting any new wars. He also passed criminal justice reform and personally pardoned black inmates who were serving life sentences for drug crimes who Obama was unwilling to pardon, but I'm the fucking stupid one, okay? Oh my God. Oh my God. Dude, what the fuck? Donald Trump literally accelerated Obama's drone wars, okay? He literally increased the mass deportations. He was incredibly militant, said that the police deserve to have like more bandwidth, in terms of like brutalizing fucking people. Also brutalized protesters across the board during the Black Lives Matter protests that were happening all around the fucking country. He blackbagged people. What the fuck? What are we doing? Oh yeah, he says he wants peace. So I guess I'll take his word on that. But also, I won't take his word when he says he's going to be a dictator on day one. I'm confused. Which of the words that Donald Trump is saying that I'm supposed to take seriously and not match up against his actions versus the words that I'm not supposed to take seriously and then also forget about his actions when he was in office? Like, I will say this much. I think Kamala Harris not communicating that they are an anti-war party is genuinely bad. Okay? Straight up, it's bad. It's not good at all. It's very, very bad. And luckily for the Democrats, Trump has not been able to effectively communicate that he is the peaceful dove this time around. Okay? Like, I don't know. I love this arm of government. It has the vibe of one of these dysfunctional middle schools where the principal is kind of afraid of the students and everyone is completely checked out in an incredibly sad way. A penny off a pint. What was in the budget? What it means for you. Cheaper beers. Labour budget. Fixing the foundations to deliver change. Fucking hell. All right.
Turn to Rachel.
Let's get started on the fucking Trump rally. Right?
Rachel Scott in Pennsylvania for the latest on the Trump campaign. Good morning, Rachel.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, Donald Trump's campaign has really been trying to turn the page after a comedian compared Puerto Rico to a floating island of garbage at one of his rallies. But this morning, Republicans are seizing on what President Biden had to say about it.
Overnight, after days of facing backlash, Donald Trump making an all-out appeal to Latino and Hispanic voters in battleground Pennsylvania.
Nobody loves our Latino community and our Puerto Rican community more than I do. Nobody.
The cleanup following racist and vulgar comments made by a comedian at Trump's New York rally on Sunday.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
President Biden going on the attack.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
The White House says President Biden was referring to the comedian, but Republicans seizing on the president's words, accusing.
I think Look Alive Jack came out with the Mac attack in the last second. People might criticize him for it, but he's right and he should say it. Okay? That's it. That's my take. Like, what are we doing here, man? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Why is it that like Republicans can literally say a metric ton of unhinged garbage on a daily fucking basis And when someone goes, hey, I don't like that, that's a trashy statement that you're making. They go, whoa, oh, how dare you? How fucking dare you? How dare you? What is going on? I'm a victim. What do you mean? What do you fucking mean? I just simply want concentration camps for every migrant at the border. Why are you calling me a fucking fascist for that? Well, I'm a real fascist for saying that. As a matter of fact, it's like, dude, what the fuck are we doing? Anyone that looks at these two statements, okay, side by side, like the Republican platform, how Biden has responded, and goes, well, both sides are really fucked up here, is the most delusional person on the fucking planet. What the fuck? I'm sorry. This is completely beyond the scope of comprehension. It is beyond unacceptable, okay? If anyone looks at either of these and like falls for these cynical attacks, okay? Fall for these like cynical attacks, they are the biggest sucker of all time, okay? You are a mark. You are a rube. You are a sucker. Biden had that streamer webcam angle. I know. He was cooking. He was cooking.
Him of calling Trump supporters garbage.
Breaking news for you, Mr. President. You may not have heard this. Just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage.
Biden even taking to social media to clarify, writing, earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. Harris has been careful to call out Donald Trump, not his supporters, as her campaign tries to win over independents and Republicans. Trump has repeatedly gone after voters who are supporting Harris.
I'll tell you what, any African American or Hispanic, and you know how well I'm doing there, that votes for Kamala.
Like, he'll be like, if Jews don't vote for me, if they vote for Democrats, they need to get lobotomies. They need their heads examined. Hispanics love me, and the ones that don't will deport them. And then you're like, hey, that's crazy. Like, that's a crazy thing to say. Why are you saying these crazy things? Nope, none of that. What are we doing? It's just the permission structure for Republicans to get away with whatever the fuck they want to say is so insane right now. Like, there is genuinely nothing that Republicans can say that will cause the media to be like, okay, dude, this is fucking insane. Like, if you are doing real news coverage on the fact that Donald Trump's prominent generals have called him out for admiring Adolf Hitler last week, and then this week, the current sitting president says, yeah, people that support that shit are trash. You can't turn around and be like, well, that's a bridge too far, sir. Like, what are you supposed to do then? It doesn't make sense. It's so inconsistent. It like doesn't make sense to me because I believe it. I believe that Donald Trump is a fascist. Okay. I believe that his supporters are at best not all that interested in the dangers that fascism presents. And at worst, they are die-in-the-wool fascists themselves. Okay. They want to do bad things. They want to hurt people. They want to hurt your neighbors. They want to, they want to put them in concentration camps. If you turn around and go, that's a bridge too far to consider them trash, it's like, what are we doing? What the fuck are we doing then? What are you supposed to say? Give them high fives? Kiss them? Love them? You're not going to, Joe Biden already bear hugged one fucking fascist in Israel, okay? Benjamin Netanyahu. What are we doing? You want him to bear hug this one too? Give all the fascists a hug and then become fascists ourselves. That's great. Seems like a good future for this country.
You got to have your head examined. Anybody that votes for her, you should have your head examined.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. What does that say? What does that say? Donald Trump, every fucking rally is like, if you're a Kamala supporter, you literally have an intellectual disability, okay? Where's the coverage? Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You can't call that trash? You can't call the supporters of that trash? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Like, Tucker Carlson went on the fucking Madison Square Garden stage and literally said, Kamala Harris is a low IQ Samoan Malaysian. Okay. Like, that is so insane. Like, that is such an insanely fucking racist, obviously racist thing to say. It is like, you're not even offering plausible deniability in that moment. You're just basically saying like, they're all the same. Black, brown, doesn't matter. They're low IQ and it doesn't matter where they're actually from. Okay. And when you offer any kind of media coverage to like Joe Brandon's sentiment in this situation as though this is like equal ground, okay? As though Donald Trump's rhetoric and Joe Biden's response to said rhetoric is like kind of similar. It's ridiculous. And then the Democrats fucking turn around and capitulate on that. Dems tried it in 2016, deplorables. No, that's a different situation. It's a different situation because Hillary Clinton was responding to a person that she was right about, by the way. She was right to say that they were deplorables, but she was responding to a person that wasn't seen in the same way as Donald Trump is. Okay? And no, that wasn't a motivator for people to go out and vote. 2016 is not 2024. 4 years of Donald Trump already happened. Okay? January 6th already happened. Child separation already happened. Roe v. Wade already happened. Get the fuck out of here.
Former president still hasn't outright denounced any of the sexist, racist, or vulgar remarks made by speakers at his rally, including that comment about Puerto Rico, instead bragging about the event.
It was like a love fest, an absolute love fest, and it was my honor to be involved.
And then telling Fox News he can't imagine it's a big deal.
What they've done is taken somebody that has nothing to do with the party, has nothing to do with us, said something, and they try and make a big deal. But I don't know who it is. I don't even know who put him in. And I can't imagine it's a big deal. I've done more for Puerto Rico than any president.
He later said the comedian probably shouldn't have been invited at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a big deal or not, but I don't want anybody making nasty jokes or stupid jokes. I mean, probably he shouldn't have been there, yeah.
But that comedian wasn't the only one on stage to use racist and sexist rhetoric. Some Republicans warning the damage could already be done.
This is not a time to have anyone criticize Puerto Rico or Latinos. This is not a time for them to get overly masculine with this bromance thing that they've got going. 53% of the electorate are women. Women will vote. They care about how they're being talked to, and they care about the issues. They need to remember that. This is a time of discipline, and this is a time of addition.
The former president campaigning in all-important Pennsylvania, putting immigration at the center of his closing message, vowing mass deportations, and receiving his biggest applause when delivering this campaign promise.
And I am hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or a law enforcement officer.
And the Supreme Court has rejected a push to remove Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s name from the ballot in two critical battleground states, Michigan and Wisconsin. Kennedy was trying to get his name off of the ballot after he dropped out of the race. He has since endorsed former President Donald Trump. He says that if Trump wins the White House, he has promised him broad authority and control over public agencies. Kennedy, of course, has pushed a range of conspiracy theories, including about vaccines, Robin.
All right, Rachel, our thanks to you.
We had the chance in front of 100,000.
Don't cave, don't capitulate, except, who am I kidding? As I correctly called out that this was going to happen. It, of course, happened. Kamala Harris distanced herself from Biden. Not on Israel, by the way, which she should have done months ago. Not on any number of different things, like the right-wing border bill that they're pushing for. Not on that, but on this. It is, this only further, like, how do you not understand the lesson that the Republicans, especially in the post-Trump universe that we're living in, how do you not learn that one very important lesson? A very important lesson that dictates that if you fucking apologize to cynical framings of a story, you are basically continuing that story. You're legitimizing it. You're giving it air. The answer should always be this, okay? Joe Biden's statements aside, we know where the well of depravity comes from, and we are going to vote him out in November, in the next 5 days, okay? The idea that Joe Biden's statements on the increasingly harmful rhetoric coming from Trump and his rallies is in any way, shape, or form inappropriate is ridiculous, okay? Because it is ridiculous. You understand? It's ridiculous. This is a cynical way that Republicans are trying to turn around and say, Oh man, I can't believe he called us garbage. Oh, remember when Hillary Clinton said deplorables? It's the same thing. Stop letting cry bullies win. Republicans do this so fucking well only because Democrats cave. Okay? If Democrats did not cave to this kind of cynical bullshit, and they haven't caved in the past on certain issues, it would not be a real there would be no motion. There'd be no juice on this. CNN's been covering a garbage thing all day. Meanwhile, Trump just called Democrats horrible people 5 minutes ago. The media is failing us. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. This is one of those instances where I'm the most libbed up, most fucking hashtag resistance ass motherfucker out there. Okay? This double standard is so annoying. Okay? This double standard is completely unacceptable. It blows my mind. It is so frustrating to watch it unfold every single time. Okay? My brain hurts. Came from a chat trying to convince me Trump would be better on Gaza than Kamala. Are we looking at the same shit? Are we looking at the same shit? Are we seeing the things that Trump is saying and getting away with saying every day? Are we seeing what crowds at his rallies are cheering for? How are we looking at the situation and be like, well, both sides have some issues? What the fuck are you talking about? Harris breaks with Biden over garbage comment about Trump supporters have their reluctance to distance herself.
People to talk about what's at stake in this election and to point out that the American people have a real choice and a very important decision to make in 6 days. And it is about who will not only lead the country, but occupy the White House where critical decisions are made that include how we think about who we are as a nation and whether we are going to be a nation of people who attempt to unify and break through this era of divisiveness, doing in the Oval Office over his enemies list. And I think that the turnout last night and the kind of feedback that we are receiving is a strong indication that the American people actually want a leader who is going to bring us together. And that's the type of leader I intend to be.
Have you spoken to President Biden since his comment last night about garbage?
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear, I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not.
Are you saying that Joe Biden is not a president for all Americans, whether you vote for him or not? Is that what you're saying? There's so much that's wrong with this. Republicans tried and failed to claim that Democrats' rhetoric on Trump led a registered Republican shooting Trump. Okay, hold on. This was a moment where Dems didn't back down and showed how silly it is. For Republicans to cry bully the Dems. Now they're caving on the cynical framing on the issue of garbage, on the Biden garbage issue. Okay, hold on. Let me rewrite this. Republicans tried and failed to claim that Democrats' rhetoric on Trump led a registered Republican to shoot at Trump. This was a moment where Dems didn't back down and showed how much GOP owns. I'm sorry for getting mad at her for this is stupid. She just had a huge speech about unity and Biden undermined that even though he's right. But of course she's going to say this after that speech last night. No, it's bad. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea for two reasons, okay? It's a bad idea for two reasons. Number one, it's a bad idea because you're fucking trying to win an election, okay? You're trying to win an election. It's dumb to try and do a unity thing when the other side is never saying unity. The other side is saying, we're going to kill you. And you're over here being like, no, we're going to unite with them. You're dumb. That's number one. Number two, what have I told you guys about the Sister Soldier moment that Bill Maher was asking for from Kamala Harris? It is a bad PR strategy to adopt the cynical framing that your opponent is cry bullying you over. You are giving them a victory. Whether you agree with the sentiment or not does not matter. Okay? When you say something like this is what's going to lead the fucking news cycle now. Ooh, there's division between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. Like it's dumb. It's so fucking dumb. All right? It's so dumb. The smart thing to do in this situation from a communications, from a PR strategy, from a communication strategy, is to turn around and be like, what are we talking about, dude? Like, there hasn't been a day that has gone by when Donald Trump hasn't said that he wants to fucking use the military on American citizens that he does not like. That is garbage. And if you believe that, you know, you got garbage beliefs. That's it. Move the conversation back. Put the Republicans on defense. That's what you're supposed to do. There is no reason to be like, here's the real situation. Here's what's going on. I don't agree. I'm going to be the president for all Americans. Like, Republicans never say that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Mike Lee, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, when President Biden called Trump supporters garbage moments ago, did he mean older people like my parents or younger people like my children, nephews, and nieces? Also, are just men garbage or my wife and sister garbage too? I said, yes, if they're voting for Trump, they're all garbage. The whole deplorable thing worked out really well. Like, what are we doing here? We have to be so courteous to the whims of like some of the dumbest fucking people on the planet, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Why are we being held hostage by these dipshits? Why? This is some loser shit. Okay? This is loser shit, dude. This is straightforward loser shit. What the fuck? Dems didn't cave to the cry bullies and showed that the GOP owns politically violent rhetoric. Now they're caving on the cynical framing on Biden's garbage comment. Why? That's what I'm going to say. Because, like, I'm showing you an example where the Democratic Party across the board did not actually back down. Remember, Donald Trump gets shot in the ear, grazed in the fucking ear. Okay? Republicans immediately come out and they're like, I can't believe you're running a campaign against the guy who just got shot. How dare you do this? I can't believe your violent rhetoric against Donald Trump being a fascist is the reason why a registered Republican shot at him, right? And everybody was like, come on, dude. Have you heard Donald Trump speak at a fucking rally? You really think the Democrats are using violent rhetoric here? Get the fuck out of here. And what happened? What happened when the Democrats actually had some backbone? What happened when the Democrats demonstrated a little bit of backbone when they're like, violence is never acceptable, but we all know who's actually doing the politically violent rhetoric, okay? It's the Republicans forever, and especially in this fucking news cycle. You got dumbass fucking Republican terrorists like lighting ballot boxes on fire, shooting at fucking Kamala Harris's campaign office in Arizona, okay? You got all this shit happening. You have a Florida man who's in jail after threatening Kamala Harris supporters with a machete outside of a polling place. Police say Caleb Williams, a Trump supporter, aggressively brandished a weapon towards two women aged 71 and 54 outside of the Jacksonville Public Library. And these dumbasses are like, oh, I can't believe Joe Biden called it trash. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Trash should be criticized on the virtues that it's like not enough. Okay? People should be saying that Joe Biden's statements were not aggressive enough for the moment.
The Beaches Branch Library yesterday afternoon to intimidate voters. News for Jackson.
We can't attack that person for calling Puerto Rico garbage, and at the same time we call all Republicans garbage while trying to court their vote. It would be hypocritical. No, not that I agree with them trying to court Republicans. No, you're trying to separate the Republicans you're courting from Donald Trump. Okay? You are trying to separate the Republicans that you're courting from Donald Trump. In that circumstance, saying you don't want to be like that guy or his supporters is valid. Okay? You're not trying to court the Republicans who are going to vote for Donald Trump into voting for you. That's not going to work. Then you're just saying nice things about people who are not going to vote for you, who think you're a low IQ Samoan Malaysian, as Tucker Carlson fucking said. What the fuck? There is an election happening, guys. What are we doing? It's in fucking 6 days. Wake up. I don't know if you know this, but the election is against Donald Trump.
Reporter Aaron Farrar is joining us now live from Neptune Beach. Aaron, that early voting site just opened a few minutes ago.
We've already seen people already starting to walk down this path to head to inside the Beaches Branch Library. People are continuing to make their way in now. Some of the cars are pulling into this parking lot. This is the same parking lot where police say all of this happened yesterday. Police say there were 8 different teenagers, all between 16 to 18 years old. The chief says that they were here to cause a ruckus and antagonize an opposing political party. Here's that picture again of Caleb Williams holding the machete in the air, police say. It was taken by one of 2 women who told police they were worried about getting hurt. The Duval County Democratic Party says the women were peacefully holding Harris Walz signs when Williams confronted them with the machete over his head. When police arrived, they found the teens and say that Williams was standing next to a truck and that the machete was in the bed of that truck in plain view. Williams was arrested. The other teens were not. Williams is in the Duval County Jail right now facing 2 charges, including aggravated assault and improper exhibition of a dangerous weapon. Records show that he registered as a Republican in March of last year. Chief Key says he is committed to making sure that this site remains safe for anyone simply trying to cast a ballot without fear or intimidation of doing so.
To say I'm disturbed is an understatement. I'm mad that this happened in Neptune Beach. This goes way beyond expressing freedom of speech. To say your piece is your First Amendment protected right, but that goes out the window the moment you raise a machete over your head in a threatening manner.
Duval County Democratic Chair Daniel Henry also released a statement about this, saying in part, quote, violence and intimidation have...
Thank God it was a Republican white kid. Dog, what are you talking about? What fucking Democrat is going to do this shit, dude? I mean, that, like, it is not in line. It is not in line with like anything that the Democratic Party is communicating, okay? Like even if there was someone like this, and it has happened in the past, like the congressional fucking baseball game, the guy who shot the congressional baseball game was like a person who door knocked for Bernie Sanders. You cannot point to a single thing that Bernie Sanders has said that like even remotely would activate someone into doing this. That's why we always joked about the whole like, that's why we joked about the whole fucking like registered Republican shooting at Trump shit. Like, what's really funny about the Mar-a-Lago Trump shooter guy is that he also voted for Trump in 2016. Like, Ryan Ruth voted for Donald Trump in 2016, okay? That's 2 for 2, motherfucker. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, yeah, he was fucking libbed up. He was Mr. NATO, okay? But there is something really funny about, like, 2 of the unsuccessful Trump assassinations as far as we understand. At either voted for Donald Trump or were registered Republicans. Like, this is not normal. There is nothing that the Democrats have said at all that implies that they want violence to happen. Okay? Violence in Gaza, they're fully on board with that. Okay? They are. Straight up. Let's be real. Okay? Permanent genocide, they're totally fine with that. But when it comes down to American domestic politics, the rhetoric that you hear from the Democratic Party is not only very anti-violence, but pro-Republican, too pro-Republican for my taste. It's ridiculous.
Have no place in our democratic process. The Duval County Democratic Party stands with those who seek to express their views peacefully and without fear of reprisal. We urge all citizens to continue engaging in civic activities respectfully and lawfully. As we're giving you another live look.
Why is it necessary for them to highlight this as a Republican versus Democrat thing instead of just violent crime kind of underlines the situation? Wait, am I misunderstanding? Because he did it at a voting site, dog. What the fuck? It's like looking at a dude who fucking does a hate crime, an anti-Semitic hate crime against Jewish people, and then like draws a swastika. And you're like, well, this just seems like a regular instance of violent crime. Why would you call this a hate crime? It's like, well, that's a pretty big detail, I think. You can't really leave that out of the conversation. You would not be doing your job.
Citizens to continue engaging in civic activities respectfully and lawfully. As we're giving you another live look this morning outside of the Jacksonville Public Library Beaches branch this morning. So far, we've seen several people already go inside to early vote. Again, this site opened at 7 o'clock this morning. As far as for Williams, he is set to make his first appearance in court later on this morning at 9 o'clock. So in just shy of 2 hours from now. We're live in Neptune Beach this morning. I'm Aaron Farrar, Channel 4, the local station.
Oh.
That is my responsibility, and that's the kind of work that I've done my entire career, and I take it very seriously.
Have you spoken to him about comments and his
I did call me last night, but this didn't come up.
Are you concerned about what impact this may have on voters, on the divisiveness of the election, and whether or not it's going to dissuade some people from supporting you because of your affiliation with the president and this administration?
I've been very clear with the American public. I respect the challenges that people face. I respect the fact that we all have so much more in common than what separates us, and that most people want a president that understands that gets that, and approaches their role of leadership that way. I've been very clear from my earliest years.
This is a bad tactic. I think the best possible thing to do in this situation is deflect, 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 deflect. Do you not have a comms guy? Oh my God. Do you not have a single intelligent PR person in your background? I know you do. There is 0% chance you don't have one person who was like, ma'am, I think the best possible thing to do in this situation is just to fucking switch the conversation back to the violent rhetoric that we hear from the Trump Republicans on a regular basis. Donald Trump hasn't had a single fucking day where he has gone to a political rally and said, I like the Democrats. Some of them are very fine. Every single day, he does 2 rallies a day. And at every single rally, he's like, I'm going to kill Democrats. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them dead. I'm going to use the military. I'm going to use the police. We're going to lock them up. We're going to execute people. We're going to kill brown people. We're going to put them in concentration camps. And then, God forbid, someone goes, hey, that was pretty trashy. I think that's trash. You know? I think that's pretty trash. God forbid. Holy moly, dude. No way. This is not real. This is not a real person, dude. Stop. This proud piece of garbage is proud to be one. Fuck Joe Biden and KH. A reckoning is coming in 6 days. No. Gotta be a meme, dude. When I see something like served to me on a platter like this, I just think, it's probably not real, you know?
As a prosecutor, I never asked anyone, are they a Democrat or Republican? The only thing I ask folks is, are you okay? And that's the kind of president I will be.
And what did you talk about with the president?
Madam Vice President, on a separate subject, last night you mentioned removing people in the country who are here illegally. What do you mean? Is that...
By the way, the funniest thing was when the Trump attempted assassination, the failed assassination happened, right? And the fucking funniest thing was people who were wearing like fucking kill Kamala Harris or kill Joe Biden t-shirts would be like, this dangerous rhetoric has gotten out of control. Like, it's like, did you listen to the rally that you just left? Are you aware that you are wearing a shirt that is calling for political violence against your opponents? You all right? That's 100% him. Oh my God, you did find him. Don't let labels define you. Charlie Kirk gives a speech at the Trump appreciation rally. Oh my God, this is literally, Jesus Christ, dude.
That's an immigration statement, obviously. Were you referring to people who have come here before illegally, or can you expand on what you meant by that comment?
What I intend to do on the issue of immigration, as I said last night and have said continuously, is we need to fix our broken immigration system in a number of ways. We need to strengthen the border and put more resources at the border, which is why I support the bipartisan bill that Donald Trump killed that would have otherwise put 1,500 more border agents at the border, put more resources into prosecuting transnational.
I'm seeing a lot of people in your chat saying they hate Republicans. What the fuck? Yeah, this is really messed up. Yeah, I wonder why this community would say things like they hate Republicans. I wonder where that comes from, dude. Like, we don't even like the Democrats because they present themselves as too Republican aligned. Yes, I do not like the Republican Party. I do not like its platform. I do not like the things that Republicans advocate for. I think everything that they advocate for is completely against improving the material conditions of the American working class. Okay? It is garbage. Their opinions are garbage. Okay? I would say the same for many Democrats who also capitulate to the Republicans and their framing on a lot of issues. I don't like it. I don't like what they do to themselves. I don't like what they do to the country. I don't like what they do to marginalized people. I think it is trash.
Crime, and would very importantly put more resources into stemming the flow of fentanyl, which is killing people around the country. And when I am elected president, I will bring that bill back and I will sign it into law. I also have done the work and in my policy going forward will strengthen what we need to do to deal with, for example, illegal entries between ports of entry. That is something that we need to tighten up. I will do the work also about ensuring that we pass comprehensive immigration reform in a way that we allow hardworking people who have earned citizenship a path to actually be able to gain citizenship because they have earned it. And that includes everyone from our farm workers to dreamers.
And just to follow up on that, do you sympathise if any voters do feel
Once again?
Do you sympathise with any voters who do feel offended by or insulted by the garbage comments?
I am running for president of the United States. I will be traveling to 3 states today to do what I have been doing throughout, which is talking with the American people about the fact that, first of all, I get it in terms of the concerns they have about challenges like the price of groceries. Second, my highest priority is to address that and to lift them up around their ambitions, their aspirations, and their dreams, which is why I have a very specific and detailed plan about strengthening our economy. Leading economists have reviewed my plan and indicated it will strengthen the economy and that Donald Trump's plan will weaken the economy. So I'm going to be spending full time, as I've been, talking with the American people, whoever they voted for last time. And as I have said and will repeat over and over.
Garbage, I think, is worse, right? But he doesn't know yet.
Oh, yeah, garbage. I can't believe they're calling him garbage. I can't believe they called us garbage. We want to kill him, don't we, folks? We want to kill him dead. Why? Because they called us garbage. Update from Elant News. A high-ranking source who's familiar with Iran's deliberations told CNN the response of the Islamic Republic of Iran to the aggression of the Zionist regime will be definitive and painful. The source also told CNN it will probably take place before the day of the U.S. presidential election. Oh, no. I don't know what their like analysis here at this point. Like, because it's just, it doesn't really matter who wins at this point. You know what I mean? From their perspective, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is like. I don't know what their calculation is. Are you taking any days off soon? No.
You have to please forgive him. Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said.
Wow, he's such a uniter. I wonder what he said before and after that. Okay. What did Donald Trump say perhaps before in that same rally? What did he say after in that same rally? I'm willing to bet if I clicked on a random moment from this rally, I could find him saying unhinged things about Democrats, unhinged things about immigrants, unhinged things about, any number of people that he feels wronged by.
We're thrilled to be joined by some incredible people. I already mentioned Senator Marco Rubio. Marco, will you come up here, please? Come on. Good man, this one.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I have breaking news for you, Mr. President. You may not have heard this. Just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage. He's talking about the Border Patrol. He's talking about nurses. He's talking about teachers. He's talking about everyday Americans who love their country and want to dream big.
I like the idea that, like, oh, if you're a nurse or if you're a Border Patrol guy or if you're like a military veteran, like, you can't have garbage opinions. Okay? And they don't even believe this idea because they say that about liberals all the time. Like, what is this line, dude? Oh, my God, I can't believe he said fathers of 3 lovely young daughters who have paid their taxes on time are garbage for believing in the garbage things that Donald Trump is saying and, support Donald Trump. It's like, dude, you call Democrats pedophiles on a daily basis while simultaneously your prominent party figures, activists, and directly elected representatives alike are doing unrestricted pedophilia and getting caught. Okay? What are you saying? Like, oh, I can't believe they called us garbage. It's just such a... I hate this. I hate it so much. It is such an obvious, like, ridiculous baby shit nonsense. Like, oh, I'm so mad. You're not mad.
Again, and support you, Mr. President. And I hope their campaign is about to apologize.
I hate this pearl clutching. I hate it.
Joe Biden just said, we are not garbage. We are patriots who love America. And thank you for running, Mr. President.
Wow. That's terrible. That's what it says. That's what it says. So you have, remember Hillary, she said deplorable? And then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable, that didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right? But he doesn't know, you have to please forgive him. Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said. These people, it's terrible, terrible. Terrible to say a thing like that, but he really doesn't know. He really, honestly, he doesn't. And I'm convinced that he likes me more than he likes Kamala. This week, Kamala has been comparing her political opponents to the most evil mass murderers in history. And now, speaking on a call for her campaign last night, Joe Biden finally said what he and Kamala really think of our supporters. He called them garbage. Without question, my supporters are far higher quality than Crooked Joe or lying Kamala. My response.
I'm convinced this isn't a big deal because Trump is the biggest believer that his supporters are garbage. I know, but only he gets to say that. You know what I mean? He literally go to Detroit and be like, Detroit is a piece of shit. You guys live in filth. You're shitty people. Vote for me now. And they'll be like, yes, Mr. President. Hell yeah. I'd love to vote for you. Be like, get your fat fucking husband off the couch and vote for me, Deborah. And people will be like, hell yeah, I'm fat. I'm fat as fuck. I'm going to die tomorrow, sir. But I hope I don't die so I can vote for you. I'm trying to find an old tweet about it, but the Republicans have the gift of saying whatever they want without getting any flack. Philosophically, they are free. I know. It's very annoying. It's very annoying that the standards set for Democrats and Republicans are so different. They are not even on the same planet, okay? God forbid a Democrat speaks even a little bit out of turn, and every single person will be like, what the fuck? How dare they? How dare they? It is so fucking frustrating. It is so imaginably frustrating. Republicans get away with every kind of filth. They get away with saying anything they want to say forever. Not gonna lie, it's the same for you. Really? You think it's the same for me? Do you know a single other influencer, okay, or famous person or rich person that has been quote unquote canceled for purchasing a house for him and his family? Do you know a single other person? It is especially the same fucking case for me. That's what's so goddamn frustrating about it. You got dudes who advocate for white people to say the N-word, crying foul. Dudes who have said unimaginably anti-Semitic things, okay, over and over again, claiming that I am anti-Semitic. It's ridiculous. Unless he was talking about the double standard exists for me as well. Instead of claiming that like I get away with it or whatever. The standards are always different for people who want a better future, for people who want a better tomorrow. If you advocate for those things, you are placed on an insane standard. Oftentimes, not even your own personal standards. You are supposed to abide by the standards that your enemy sets for you. Democrats need to. This is such a funny article. By the way, those people confessed that they don't care about anti-Semitism and just trolling. Organizer admits targeted harassment campaign against Twitch, and Hassan admits he did it to troll. Well, I don't know where the fucking post is because it got removed, but we know that already. I've seen it. I think it was already established. Anyway, Donald Trump's campaign message, final campaign message. I'm not Hitler. This I'm not Hitler t-shirt I'm wearing is bringing up a lot more questions that is answered by my t-shirt.
Response to Joe and Kamala is very simple. You can't lead America if you don't love Americans. You just and you can't be president if you hate the American people. And there's a lot of hatred there. Kamala Harris is not fit to be president of the United States. She doesn't have the intellect, the stamina, or that special quality that real leaders must have to lead. We know what that is. It's a special quality. Joe Biden's comments were the direct result of Kamala's and Walz, you know? You know who that is? His decision to portray everyone who isn't voting for them as evil or subhuman. You're not subhuman. I'm looking at you. You are not subhuman. And we know it's what they believe because look how they've treated you. They've treated you like garbage, frankly. They've treated you like garbage. You know what? The truth is they've treated our whole country like garbage, whether they meant to or not, because they're grossly incompetent people, and they've destroyed our country. Our country is suffering right now like it's never suffered with inflation. And with the infliction, think of it, they've allowed millions and millions of people to come into our country.
It's a nothing burger.
I couldn't agree more.
I mean, y'all are trying to make the...
I can't wait for this dipshit to fucking chirp about how this is the most imaginable wrong that has been committed thus far.
Listen, you don't get to have it both ways.
No,
you know, you can't say it's a joke, and so but it's serious, and let's do round the clock media coverage when it's a comedian. But when the president of the United States says it, no, we'll give him a free pass.
Guys, what are we doing here? Donald Trump says worse shit. Donald Trump says worse shit than Tony Hinchcliffe on a daily fucking basis, dude.
You know what's crazy? I want you to take the president of the United States to task. You do that. And I want you to do that as well. Take him to task and say that his comments were inappropriate. Actually, I want you to get a warm, cozy blanket and say it reminds you of 2016 when Hillary Clinton called us deplorables, right? And then what I'm going to tell you is the fact that Kamala Harris got on stage tonight in front of 100,000 people and talked about the America that she wanted. I'm going to tell you about the fact that Kamala Harris said that she's going out on the campaign trail with people like Liz Cheney, that she has Bush's campaigning for, that she's going to put a Republican in her cabinet, that there is nobody on God's green earth that can look you directly in the face with any level of intellectual honesty and tell you that the America that Kamala Harris wants versus the America that Donald Trump wants is the exact same. And so, yes, listen, you want to talk about foot and mouth disease? That's Joe Biden. Do we want him on the campaign trail? You know, the sources that we have, we actually do want him on the campaign trail, contrary to popular belief, because he still does well.
I will say, though, Bakari, he was in his house, the White House. He was in his house doing this, and the reporting is that there are places that he can be useful, but he's not everywhere, like you might expect a sitting president to be for his vice president.
I don't know that I would expect this president to be everywhere in this moment. I mean, look, a critical element, any coach will tell you, any CEO will tell you, a critical element of running a team and winning is assessing the strengths and weaknesses of your team members and making sure you allocate them in the right way. Joe Biden has never been a big arena speaker. He's never been the most fluid speaker. And by the way, as someone who had a stutter growing up, very obvious to me that there's an apostrophe at the end of supporters there. He was referring to the garbage spewed by supporters, not simply the supporters themselves. But Joe Biden has been on the campaign trail. He's best getting ice cream in Maryland like he was today. He's best showing moments of empathy in Arizona like he was last week. He's best with union folks as he was in Pittsburgh last week as well. You use people where they are best. You put Obama in a big arena, you put Michelle in a big arena, and you put Joe Biden in front of a bunch of union people doing retail politics.
You could make the argument that they would be fine if Joe Biden wasn't anywhere near a microphone between now and next Tuesday.
Let me just accept the most charitable framing of this, which you just gave. Why is he sitting in front of a laptop at the exact same moment Kamala Harris is out on his backyard trying to give the closing argument to her campaign? What in the world is he doing? Now, I don't accept your framing of it personally because I actually do believe he, Harris, the Democratic Party, and most of their campaign do believe that half the country is garbage. They've also said people who go to Trump rallies are Nazis. And so it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
But as a speech tonight.
But as a tactical matter today,
No, but you don't just get to say
why in the world is Joe Biden giving remarks at the same time as Kamala Harris?
I'll give you that. We're going to talk about other.
I thought he was going to be here for a couple of segments. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you want to talk about who's running with various candidates and what
This lady summed up the garbage outrage perfectly.
I want you to sit with this feeling.
I want you to sit with this feeling of being called garbage.
80+ million people being called garbage by the sitting president, a comedian who was speaking at a rally significantly different.
One time by a...
I mean, dude, here's the easiest, simplest solution to this. Don't fucking advocate for garbage. Don't believe in garbage policies. Don't believe in hurting other people. It's that simple. If you are primed, tuned, excited about the prospect of mass deportations, okay, you're garbage. You're bad. You're a bad person. A super simple way to not be, to not have half the fucking country or more than half the country see you as that is to say, I'm not on board with this. I think this is unconscionable. I am not voting for Donald Trump. That's it. That's it. It's that easy. I swear to fucking God, it is that easy.
By a sitting president. I want you to sit with this feeling because maybe you will feel just a crumb of how millions and millions of people in this country have felt over the course of 9 years having to deal with Donald Trump. Trump's supporters set the standard on how people should react when a politician says something bad. You guys set that standard. You set that standard when for 9 years you allowed Donald Trump to say the most horrific things about marginalized groups, calling Mexicans rapists and murderers, saying that the LGBTQIA community harms children, that Muslims...
You rage baited early classic? What? I didn't. What are you talking about? To this clip? No. What? No, she's right. I read the reply to her that she is replying back to with this TikTok. I'm agreeing with the clip.
Muslims are...
I think sometimes you guys see like a blonde woman and you insta assume that it's like a Trump supporter or something. I did not imply that at all.
Terrorists and need to be banned from the country. That he couldn't have possibly sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll because she wasn't his type. He's called people like me a lunatic for 9 years. A liberal lunatic. 9 fucking years. And not one of his supporters have ever come out to call him out on it. They clapped for it. They cheered for it.
It's funny because like people have called him out on some of this stuff and then they're no longer a part of the in-group. That's the other thing. And like Kamala Harris is trying to pick at all of those people that are like, I don't know if I want to be on board with this. But you can't do that while simultaneously normalizing Trump. You have to make these people distance themselves from Donald Trump. And that's why the weird narrative was so good. Okay? Donald Trump and his cult-like followers are fucking weird. You don't want to be like them. That's why you don't want to vote for them. You want to vote for me instead. Or you want to just stay at home and you don't want to vote for Donald Trump. That's the best way to do this. Because it also deflates like the powerful way that they try to present themselves as. And there are scary aspects of the Trump rhetoric, of course. Mass deportations is fucking terrifying. It's objectively fascist shit. Sicking the enemy, sicking the military on what you perceive as enemies from within is terrifying shit. Okay? And on those issues, you have to be serious. But on others, like the constant fucking flow of hatred, trying to prime an audience, trying to tune an audience to fucking hate trans people for no reason whatsoever, that is weird. That's good. That's weak. That's weak shit. You're doing this because you're weak. They're doing that. The Republicans are doing that because they're weak people. They're only a weak person sees someone that is in a shittier circumstance than they are and chooses to pounce on them. I think you're fundamentally wrong on this. Biden demonized an entire group of people is just like anti-white racism. Good one. Sorry, it was bait. I just wanted you to read my previous message. Off topic, I was rewatching the Japan trip vlogs and clips, and I was wondering when you were going to go back. It was peak content. Don't worry. I'm going to go back in January.
They egged him on. No one has held him accountable for 9 years. So, if you're offended this one time, you want to clutch your pearls, this one time. But you also fail to realize you guys set the standard over how I should react to it, right? So let's see. Oh, you're taking it out of context. Oh, it was just a joke. Oh, Biden's just off the cuff, right? You know how Biden is. He just says things. He's funny. He tells it like it is. 9 fucking years. Sit with it one time.
This is what GOP runs in ads.
Do you have a daughter? Kamala Harris wants to put a man on every single women's sports team in this country. It will happen the minute she signed into office. I got a question for you, America. If Kamala Harris is the candidate that supports they-thems, who's gonna support USA? Last week, a Facebook poll indicated that 10 gabillion immigrants finally talked about communism, aka the Kamala Harris ticket. On day 1 in office, Kamala Harris has vowed to sign communism into the Constitution and revoke free speech, but only if you're conservative and or religious, which is why Bibles are mandated in classrooms. America, I am pained to announce that a Facebook poll indicated 10 quadrillion immigrants per public school have been imported in the last 72 hours. America, the choice is yours. Who are you gonna pick?
I don't have anything else.
Where's Mike Pence? Where's Nikki Haley? Where's every single Republican living vice president and president? They're not speaking for Donald
except
Trump.
for Sarah Palin.
You got me there.
Haley's for Trump.
Haley
We'll
is
get
not
to
on the
that.
trail.
I'd get to the Nikki Haley.
They haven't spoken since June, so she might
She
be.
spoke
but
at our convention. She gave a speech.
I think what we
She
need
has
to
not
do-
been there. She has not been on the trail. They haven't spoken since June.
She spoke at our convention.
I think Kamala Harris is running a young and modern and fresh campaign. It is very rare to be the vice president of a president running while he is still president. That does not happen a lot. So she has to walk a very fine line. And I think the thing is that she has to separate herself from the Biden-Harris campaign to show us what the Harris-Walz campaign would look like. So I think it makes sense.
It's more of the same.
that
She
he's-
couldn't
it's
even
not more
answer a
of the
simple
same.
question
It's
of what would you
100%
do
not more
differently.
of the same.
She stood there
Because
tonight in the
she is
ellipse and
walking
said,
a
I will
fine
be
line
honest with you. I will never
between-
lie and I will say difficult things, but I can't tell you one mistake that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made. It's because she believes all of the horrible policies
Have you
that
ever
they
had a
have done.
boss? Have you ever had a boss? Did you ever work for anyone?
Yes, and I still do.
Okay. So
I was
hypothetically.
about to say I'm married, so I don't.
I agree.
So anyway, you have a boss. You're working with your boss. You're at a dinner. You might be going for another job. You're not going to insult your boss while you're at the table, right? She is still the vice president of the president of the United States. So if you ask me, hey, what has your boss done wrong at this company? You're not going to say, well, he's done this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. You're going to say, I think, well, I'm here at this company. I'm doing my job. That's her job as the vice president.
That is why
as
there's
the
only-
presidential
Isn't
candidate,
there an
she's going to
argument
speak
to be
differently.
made, though, that even from a strategic perspective, there's no harm necessarily in her saying, actually, I would do something differently.
There's no harm at all. You're exactly right.
The American
100%.
people might actually want to hear her say that.
No, but that, I mean,
But don't you think
but
she
that's
is-
also kind of blind to say, because what you're discounting is the fact that this individual actually got 84 million votes. What you're actually discounting is the fact that in places like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, there are demographics, particularly in the blue wall states, where he does extremely well.
But do you think that
Actually, it's at 48, 49%.
But do you think that even the people who voted for
That's the
Joe
average. You're talking
Biden
about now.
believe that he did everything right?
No, I don't think
then
Barack
that's what-
Obama did
what's
it.
standard
Respectfully,
Even
Abby,
the
that's an
people who-
insane argument to make, because I don't even think Barack Obama did everything right.
I'm just saying, what I'm saying is, even the people who support Joe Biden, it sounds to me like you're suggesting that she can't distance herself from him because they all voted for him. But those people are not saying he's perfect either.
That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is that contrary to the belief around this table, there is value to Joe Biden. And I'm also articulating, because we can have a nuanced conversation, that although there is value to Joe Biden, we also have to realize that Kamala Harris did a great job articulating tonight what her presidency would look like versus Donald Trump. Kamala Harris is not running against...
My mom be repeating these lib talking points. Now I know where she hears them from. Yes, everybody's got someone. Everybody's got a Hasanabi that they are watching, and that they are responding, and that they are repeating the talking points of. Okay, for your parents, the role that I play in your life, for your parents, these guys play that role. Okay, for some it's Rachel Maddow, and for a shit ton of Americans, it's Sean Hannity, it's Tucker Carlson. And for many, it's Joe Rogan. It's terrifying to think.
Joe Biden to be president of the United States of America. She's running against Joe Biden, and it's a binary choice. You get hate, division, or you get Kamala Harris.
Or you get low gas prices, low grocery prices, a soul that's not...
secure border and low gas prices, secure border. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah, baby. That's right. It's a binary choice. Secure our border, secure our border.
The opposite of what you have right now.
We did just talk about this. Gas prices
they're actually going down.
Radically down.
And as soon as they stop draining the SPR, they're going to go right back up again.
I think this is all a piece of a double standard that I think is being applied to Kamala Harris, left, right, and center. If you want to talk about people and their ability to acknowledge where things might have gone wrong or could have gone differently, I'd encourage you to name one time that Donald Trump has said, you know what, I got this wrong.
He said he could have hired better people in the first. He made some mistakes with
That's
some
because
hiring.
none of them.
Okay, so if your claim is that the only thing that he has acknowledged doing wrong is hiring John Kelly, Esper, Milley, and all the people who have
She can't even say that.
No, but
but look at the reasons why he's saying that is because they have all said this man is a threat to the way we as a country function. I guess if hiring people that are not loyal enough to you and too loyal to the country,
here's the one fundamental difference.
Fair play.
He has a record that people remember. 2/3 of the American people think
you're raising a correct question. The problem is that the most adjacent person to Harris is Biden, and he is the current president. And contrary to Bakari's new math, he does not have a 49% approval rating. There's a reason he's not the candidate. He has an approval rating for most of his term below 40%.
What's Trump's national approval rating?
And Donald Trump's retrospective approval is now over 50%. So the reason, and I think Abby was correct.
What is his current national approval rating?
I think you're mired down in the approval ratings and the percentages.
So the reason, what you said is correct. The reason you would separate yourself from the less popular person is because people clearly don't want it anymore, and she's not yet done that, which is, I think, the point you were raising.
And if I may make a point before we carry on, I think it would be great if she could run on what Biden has done, because what Biden has done is actually tremendous. And I think it is absolutely bananas that she has to even think of distancing herself from the Jobs and Infrastructure Act, from the CHIPS Act, from the PACT Act. We haven't done infrastructure. Why are you laughing?
Please keep talking about the CHIPS Act. If you look at the polling on the issues, Joe Biden is 60% disapproved on every single major issue.
Listen, Mark.
All right, leave.
There are things that have passed in this country that haven't been done in years. Infrastructure. We're going to start seeing things 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. People are going to say, in retrospect, holy heck, was Joe Biden a fantastic president? But right now, we have to pretend that he was some god-awful president when, honestly, he passed more major infrastructure bills, more things for guns, more things for the climate, more things for the veterans, and the Republicans voted against all of it.
And
so to say that we have to run away from him is absolutely crazy, and yet the propaganda works, and you guys keep banging on the same things, and you say he was terrible, and we're going to see in the future he wasn't terrible, he was fantastic, but she has to differentiate herself from him right now.
All right. Meanwhile, before the shirt talk, you heard Lawrence talking about it. The White House now.
They're loving it, dude. It's like the most minor. It's the most minor sentiment, and it is so appropriate, and it's so valid. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to say it's appropriate. I think it's inappropriate in the opposite direction. It's not enough. Okay? Garbage is not enough to describe Trump's policies, Trump's attitude, Trump's hatred. It's not enough. You're underselling it. They are just going nutty mode over it. They're like, oh, thank God we caught it. An example I will use is a very famous case of Alabama's failed Senate runner-up, Roy Moore. Roy Moore, after being an Alabama Supreme Court judge for years, ran for the senatorial seat in the Senate race. Roy Moore was always trash. He was a psychopathic right-wing Christo-fascist, a Christian nationalist charlatan. Roy Moore also happened to be someone who predated on young women. And at that time, when every single person was like, oh my God, he was literally banned from his own local mall in Alabama because he was trying to fuck young girls there, like underage girls, okay? Underage girls, minors. How the fuck can you vote for this guy when that was the main point of contention? Okay. What did the Republicans do? not only did they defend Roy Moore and his pedophilia, they turned around and said, well, the Democrats are sex pests too. And they looked far and wide to find anything that they could hold on to. And hold on to it they did. They found Al Franken. They started saying, oh, you guys like Roy Moore? Well, what about Al Franken? Roy Moore had been a serial pedophile, okay? Like a blight on Alabama. Blight on Alabama in terms of pedophilia. So much so that, I repeat once again, he was not allowed to go to his local mall because they were like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? He was trying to prey on the young girls at the local mall. He could not go to his local mall. That's the degree of pedophilia that Roy Moore was operating on. Republicans turned around and said Al Franken did a bit where he fake grabbed the boobs of his co-host over a fucking military vest. His co-host was at the time a Republican commentator. She said initially that it was inappropriate. All hell broke loose. They immediately were like, boom, these two things are the same. Okay? These two things are the exact same. And the Democrats turned around and clapped Al Franken. He turned around and said, yes, Al Franken is a rapist. We got to get him out of here. They ate the bait. They fucking ate the bait. Al Franken, not the best guy. Al Franken certainly did inappropriate shit to women. I'm not even saying that that's not the case. But if you want to understand the double standards in this circumstance, if you want to understand how this shit works, recognize that Republicans will get hit on for doing like the worst unimaginable thing possible. And they'll turn around and be like, well, Democrats do it too. And these fucking dumbass Democrats will cave immediately. Okay? It is incredibly frustrating to watch this play out every single day. It is incredibly frustrating to watch this unfold again and again and again and again. It is such an obvious fucking cynical deployment of know you like a child. You cannot play by the rules that the Republican Party sets for you. Okay? When they say no, you're supposed to fucking do what the Republicans do. That's why they win. You're underselling a calculated propaganda tactic of whataboutism. I know. I am describing it in simple terms because it is very simple. When you are attacked for being dead to rights an asshole, you turn around and go, well, those guys are assholes too. What do you say about that? And immediately everybody hyper focuses on the other side. And especially if they cave, especially if the other side, the Democrats cave, then you've just given them a W.
In damage control mode after President Biden inexplicably went on TV and called Trump supporters, it sure sounds like garbage during.
Like, look at this. This is America PAC, Elon Musk's PAC.
This ad contains multiple instances of the C word. Viewer discretion is a.
Let me guess. The C word is what they're calling her is a commie, but they are basically trying to say, the other C word, cunt.
Advised. Kamala Harris is a C word. You heard that right. A big old C word. In fact, all of the other C words think she's the biggest C word of them all. That's right, she's a tax-hiking, regulation-loving, gun-grabbing communist. And the worst part, she's proud of it. Kamala.
Yeah, that's the whole point, dude. Yeah, they're invoking the word cunt, but not saying it, but kind of saying it.
Harris, the C word America simply can't afford.
Yeah, I wish she was a communist. Yeah, also, why is there a meow here?
Kamala Harris, the C word America simply can't afford. See you nationwide. Loving, gun-grabbing, communist.
Yeah,
Gun-grabbing.
Yeah, I wonder what they're trying to say with this ad. It's communist, no? Yes, dude, the C word is communism. Why are they playing a cat Is it because the word cat starts with a C? Or is it because they want plausible deniability while basically pointing to calling her a cunt as a joke? It doesn't fucking matter, but like, come on, don't be stupid.
Campaign call last night.
Lucas Tomlinson joins us live from the White House. Hey, Lucas.
Well, good morning, Ainsley. It was just last week that President Biden said he wanted to lock Donald Trump up. Now he said the following last night.
I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization is seen as unconscionable.
A White House spokesman attempted to clarify Biden's remarks, saying, quote, the president referred to the hateful rhetoric at the Madison Square Garden rally as, quote, garbage. Until Biden's comments, which critics say harkens back to Hillary Clinton's deplorables comment the night was supposed to belong to his vice president, Kamala Harris. Her campaign says 75,000 people packed the ellipse here in the nation's capital to listen to Harris's closing argument. Now, before Biden's remarks, there was a lot of focus on that comedian who spoke at the Garden at Trump's rally, who made what some considered a crude remark about Puerto Rico. Now it's Biden's comments that last night that many Trump supporters are finding offensive. Of course, President Biden has not campaigned with his vice president at a rally since Labor Day, and there's no plans for him to do so. And now Senator Tom Cotton says he wants Biden to apologize to Harris. He wants Harris to condemn those comments, guys.
Lucas, I've got a question for you. So last night, Kamala Harris was on the ellipse, which is the park to the side of the White House. You could see the White House in the background. If Joe Biden looked out his window, he would see that party with tens of thousands of people that he was not invited to. Do people think that that's why he got on the horn and started talking to CNN and then made this gigantic mess less than a week before the election?
What appears that this event was already planned, Steve, but you're right to point out the numbers of people who came here to the ellipse, which is just a few hundred yards away. There's 75,000 people. And remember, in Houston over the weekend, 30,000 packed that arena to hear Beyonce and the vice president speak. Meanwhile, President Biden spoke at a rally in Pittsburgh. It was just union members. There was only about 100 people that attended that one, Steve.
Right. You just wonder why he was doing anything to take any spotlight away from the vice president when she needed the spotlight. And now he really messed up. Lucas, thanks so much.
Thank you, Lucas. So President Trump was on stage with Marco Rubio. They were at an event in Allentown, Pennsylvania, at a rally. And Marco Rubio informed him.
Breaking news.
This is what Joe Biden just said about your supporters. Listen to this.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but I have breaking news for you, Mr. President. You may not have heard this. Just moments ago, Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage. Talking about the Border Patrol. He's talking about nurses. He's talking about teachers. He's talking about everyday Americans who love their country and want to dream big again and support you, Mr. President. And I hope their campaign is about to apologize.
Little Marco, the way he drinks the water, little Marco.
For what Joe Biden just said, we are not garbage. We are patriots who love America. And thank you for running, Mr. President.
That's terrible. Remember Hillary? She said deplorable. And then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable. That didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right?
It's not helpful to the Harris campaign.
One of the spins is they said, we just want to put an apostrophe. We want to fix it by putting an apostrophe after the S in the sentence to make it make sense. I don't know how that makes sense. I don't think you can.
S? Garbage? It was because he said the only garbage I see floating out there are his supporters.
Supporters.
Oh,
supporters. Yeah.
Supporters?
So, so they put out an official
statement. Calling Puerto Ricans trash, perfectly valid. Saying that calling Puerto Ricans trash makes you a trash person, unacceptable. Once again, the entire conversation hinges on one side saying Nazi shit and the other side calling them a Nazi, and then everybody going, whoa, 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 that's way more offensive than the one side saying Nazi shit. These people openly care more about crying foul at the correct interpretation of their value systems of being open fucking fascists. I hate it. It is so fucking baby shit. It is so cowardly. It is just cry bullying. And once again, everyone is a liberal.
On
the supporters.
Right.
So, yeah, this is their spin. They said the damage control statement then added an apostrophe to the word supporters to imply that Biden was only referring to one person, and that's the comedian Tony Hinchcliffe who made the joke about Puerto Rico.
Well, this is what Joe Biden.
That's a great spin.
What Joe Biden did last night is exactly what Joe Biden did last night is exactly why the campaign of Kamala Harris does not want to campaign with him, because
I think you should give him another chance.
He is unpopular and he is undisciplined, and he has made a gigantic mess for her.
Do they even talk, though? Isn't this the second time we've talked about how he's doing?
Trump would never call people garbage. Yeah.
It's not her. It's the people that surround her. They're scum. They're scum. And they want to take down our country. They are absolute garbage.
That's why it's so funny being like, Joe Biden has no messaging discipline. It's like, dude, you're in the pocket for Trump. You're in the pocket for Trump. What do you mean, message discipline?
Exactly, he made a joke.
There's an island of trash.
Yeah.
It's called Puerto Rico. Here's where that joke comes from. Tony is actually obsessed with the Pacific Garbage Patch, and like the fact that we just throw, like we were talking about, like recycling. Like recycling doesn't work. They don't do it. Most of your bottles, when you throw in a recycler, they get put in landfills. So there's a landfill in Puerto Rico that's way overflowed. Puerto Rico has a legitimate trash.
Yeah, dude, he was being fucking environmentally conscious. Yeah, when someone says they love Adolf Hitler, they're being environmentally conscious. They're advocating for veganism because Adolf Hitler was a vegan. I didn't realize the joke was woke, actually. I'll explain the anti-Semitic joke. Yeah, he's just raising the alarm about anti-Semitic dog whistles when he says, like, Jews are always throwing that paper. I mean, that one is like, it's just so bad. It's just so, like, it was so hacky. Oh, Jews are always throwing that paper. Like, that's such a hacky fucking bit, dude. Or when he's talking about black people loving watermelon, like, he's just, he's talking about the crisis of not having healthy foods in any community, actually. Yeah, he was raising the alarm bell about not having enough food in our diets.
Trash problem. Because they're on an island. Like, where are you going to put it, right? There's all these people living on that island. Where are you going to put it? And so they have landfills. Their landfills are way over capacity. So that's where the joke came from.
Right.
Like, the joke came from, like, Tony being environmentally conscious.
Yeah, they don't seem to have taken it that way.
But from his roaster perspective, that's where the joke comes from.
Totally.
I think it's
Wait, even he doesn't believe it. He's laughing about it. That's hilarious, dude. He said it, but he doesn't believe it either. This one popped off. Dude, this was insane. Like, how do you fuck up a USA chant, dude? How? How do you fuck this up?
USA! USA! USA!
USA! USA!
Yeah!
How does that go?
Aren't we
USA!
cool? Look at me, I'm cool.
USA, everybody. Dude, please go on the first one-way trip to Mars, please. Just never to return. Oh my God, dude. Why couldn't the Democrats just point to why couldn't the Democrats just point to what Trump says at every rally? Why did they have to fucking cave on this frame and be like, oh man, it's just like.
If you look at Pennsylvania, it's got 19 electoral votes. The early votes so far, it's got 1.4 million going in plus, but 58% have been Democrat.
Chatters, when you say
have been
chatters, stop fucking posting Richie Torres shit in the chat, please. Okay? It is no different than posting Destiny in the chat. You're just giving it more attention for no fucking reason. It is completely meaningless. We are 5 days out from an election, and you're being a fucking drama freak for no reason. Okay? I am trying to cover the goddamn election that is happening in 5 days. Okay? Please be fucking adults. You're giving it more traction for no reason. It's not going to go anywhere. Please, I beg of you.
Republican, so that's a significant advantage.
Right, and here's the thing. Politico has got a great analysis of the early voting across the battleground states. And it is shocking some pollsters because women are outpacing men in battleground states by 10 points, 55 to 45. The implications are unclear, and you don't know exactly who they are voting for. But we do know, you look at the demographics, women seem to favor Kamala Harris. And that explains apparently what they think is her path to winning next Tuesday because she leads in the suburbs as well. Brand new Wall Street Journal poll. She's up by 7. She's up by 6 in a brand new Ipsos poll regarding the suburbs. If those hold, those suburban voters would be enough to offset her giant losses in the Black and Latino communities. So her path to victory is through the suburbs, they say.
Well, so Lawrence, I'm curious when you talk to the folks that are there in the diner, do they live in the suburbs? Are they in the big cities? Where do they live, and what are their opinions?
Yeah, let's go talk to them. Let's actually talk with some folks. And we're going to hit right where we left off. Hello, how you doing, ma'am? You're on Fox and Friends right now. What's your name?
Christina.
Christina. Okay, so I'm curious, Christina, did you hear the current president of the United States call the Trump supporters garbage yesterday?
I did, yes.
What is your thought process on this?
It feels very demeaning, you know. I've been a Republican my whole life. It's a privilege to be a Republican.
Damn, they sent his ass out again, dude. No more barbershops. We're going back to the diners.
And a conservative, and I stand for conservative values, and I think I can process thoughts and have my own thought pattern, and to be called garbage for those thoughts is not necessarily an uplifting comment.
Were you surprised?
No, not at all.
Surprised.
No, not coming from him or his party.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, as I told y'all from the very beginning, people were telling me this happened, but they were not surprised. Let's talk with some other folks. Sir, what's your name?
Adam.
You guys got a tight race here. I'm sure you heard the current president actually, talk about Trump supporters being garbage. How's that going to impact you?
I mean, it just shows the Democrats and Harris's desperation. I mean, I think they're desperate. They see the numbers, they see the people, all the enthusiasm behind, Donald Trump and the Republicans. So, it's like Hillary Clinton calling us deplorables.
Yeah, this is just part 2, right?
Yeah.
Sir, how you doing? Thank you for your service. It is tight here in Pennsylvania. 81,000 votes separated 2020. Donald Trump won it in 2016 and 2020. Joe Biden won it by 81,000 votes. What do you think is going to be the issue that brings the majority of the folks to the polls?
Economy.
Yeah. Economy.
Just everybody's struggling. I mean, food's for one thing. I mean, let's try to get prices down on things. Housing's out of control. So yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate that. Let's go talk with some other folks right here. Oh, you were fired up the moment I saw you this morning. What's your name?
Tamra.
Tamra, I'm curious, with PA being so close, who do you think is going to win?
I really think that Trump will win just because the economy is so bad for people, and the typical state counties like Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, those people are working people and they are really feeling the crunch. So I think that makes a difference.
So y'all voted for Donald Trump in 2016. Yes. 2020, y'all went back to Joe, but it was only by 81,000. Why is this time different?
I think we've had 4 years of failure, and people are tired of it. They've really felt that failure at the grocery store in their own families. The education system is bad. The country is dangerous. So these are matters that matter to me as a mom, and I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that. It is personal.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. Guys, so as you can see, they're talking about the issues, those mom and pop stores, just being able to go to the grocery store. Yeah, they're upset about what the president said about, calling essentially this entire room garbage, but that's not what really matters. What matters is when they go to the grocery store and they can't afford things.
It's all about the money, bread and butter issues. Thank you, Lawrence.
We look at it as like these Hollywood A-listers, the coastal elites telling middle America that they're garbage. Thank you.
The 5 is live. No, Jessica. No, that sucks.
So I give it a 10.
A 10. We finally get the number. I believe it is definitely up close to a 10. You look like you're dying to say something, Tyrus.
Well, because I think
and they got this fucking clown.
Oh, yeah. Population when he told that wonderful story about corn pop that we cannot confirm or deny. This is starting to feel like, me and Judge were fighting for the same promotion, and Dana picked Judge. And so Judge is outside the 5 doing a press conference, and I'm inside here, and They wanted to interview me, but I don't get the cameras. I get apparently a guy around my height holding a phone down, trying to make him look skinny for some reason. I guess he was going to take selfies for Facebook afterwards. And he was just frustrated and mad, and he should be out there, not her. And that garbage term, just so you know, garbage used to be the strongest word you could use on television before you got into the cuss words. So garbage was the last line. So he was in the mind frame of he was still on TV, but he was on somebody's phone.
Bro, they fucking say Haitian migrants are eating cats and dogs and shit. They say like every undocumented immigrant is like a rapist murderer. And then they turn around and go, you call us garbage for saying those things? Oh my God. You know, I'll have you know, it used to be a slur.
And you wouldn't be saying these things if it wasn't a complete blowout. So just keep calling names. But
it just occurs to me that the White House press office should have said he meant garbage.
Yeah.
Sounds better.
This is the last thing Judge Jeanine, the Kamala Harris campaign needed right now. They were trying to stick the landing. You got a week to go. And this.
Well, you know, Joe Biden hasn't helped her at all. And we've talked about the fact that either there's a miscommunication between the Biden, the Obama, and the Kamala people not understanding each other's calendars, schedules, whether it was stepping on each other when they were talking about the strike, you know, the resolution of the strike until January, or talking about the hurricane, or talking about any one of a number of things. But, you know, I think for most Americans or most Republicans or conservatives, this isn't a mistake. This is just another time that they name called us, okay? It started with deplorables, and then we were racist, and then we were Nazis, and then we were fascists, then we were extremists. Now we're garbage. Under Obama, we're the, you know, rednecks who cling to God and guns and all that stuff. They've done nothing but trash us, the supporters of Donald Trump. So when Donald Trump says something like, you know, they're not just coming for me, they're coming for you. This makes it eminently clear that after they get him, they're coming for us, because that's how little they think of us. And if you,
I hate this shit. Like, it's so cynical. They're such fucking big babies. And any moment spent on this, not showcasing how much of a baby
Vice President
these people are, okay, is ridiculous.
President Kamala Harris's closing campaign message is all about unity, but critics say a new comment from President Biden could undermine that. Here's what Biden said as he responded to those racist comments and jokes at Sunday's Trump rally in New York, and remarks that he made to the advocacy group Voto Latino.
Donald Trump has no character. He doesn't give a damn about the Latino community. And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
He's right.
In a follow-up statement, the president says, quote, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That is all I meant to say. But of course, all of it unfolded with Election Day less than a week away, and people are talking about it. We're joined now by the Democratic vice presidential nominee, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. Governor, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Tony. Thanks for having me.
I want to get your reaction to the president's comments, but I want to put it into a larger context of your recent comment comparing the Sunday Trump rally to a Nazi rally. And I would also throw in there Obama's bitter clingers, guns and religion comment from a while back, the deplorable line from Hillary Clinton's campaign, and the way that Democrats are seen by some voters as disrespecting them. And I have to ask, does that undercut this closing message of unity from your campaign?
No, certainly not. And For Tony, for me, I've represented rural areas. I've represented Democrats, Republicans, Independents. Same thing with the vice president. Look, you saw a presidential speech last night at the Ellipse that is the best of America, one that's talking about unifying us, one that's talking about bringing folks to the table, one that the American tradition of disagreeing and debating, but still doing it in a respectful manner. And I think there's the frustration we've seen since January 6th, the frustration with Donald Trump's rhetoric of division. It does fire passions. And I think President Biden was very clear that he's speaking about the rhetoric we heard at that, so it doesn't undermine it. People are hungry to come back together. They're hungry to find a unifying message. They're hungry for us to find solutions, whether it's prices or whether it's reproductive care. They want to see solutions.
Governor Nate Burleson here. Thank you for joining us. You know, there has been some reporting that President Biden has been sidelined during this campaign. One, is there any truth to that? And if not, is this an example of maybe why he should be sidelined?
Well, look, President Biden's the president.
Yeah, one point that chatters are making consistently that's really funny is that they're not this upset about being called Nazis. Like, they're way more locked and loaded, the fucking garbage thing, than they were on the Nazi thing. Because, like, it almost feels like they're like, yeah, okay, that's fair. To be fair, Joe Biden didn't call them Nazis ever.
In the United States, he's running it. Vice President Harris is our candidate and will be the next president. And I think there's two different positions there. The vice president is out speaking about the things that we need to be done for the country. She's talking about all of those issues that matter to folks. And the president's doing what he needs to do. And that's making sure our country is reducing inflation, making sure that we're taking our leadership role in the world where American values are front and center. So no, it doesn't. These are just two different positions. We're bringing this thing home in 6 days, and we're going to make sure that that Vice President Harris becomes our next president.
Governor, it's Adriana Diaz. Thank you for being here. One of the things that Vice President Harris says she wants to do is restore abortion rights. Should there be any limits on abortion, including limiting third trimester abortions?
Look, Vice President's been very clear. Making sure that we restore the right of Roe versus Wade, making sure that women and their healthcare providers, because these services are healthcare, making sure those decisions are made in the best interest of the health of the mother. And that's exactly what we've talked about the entire time. So for 52 years, we were very clear on where things were at. Donald Trump gleefully talks about the beautiful thing that he's done, which means women having miscarriages in parking lots. I'm down here and was in Georgia yesterday where Amber Thurman died, and it was totally preventable had we not had a Donald Trump abortion ban. So we've been clear about that. Restoration of Roe, that's what we're looking for.
Should there be a federal third trimester abortion ban?
Look, well, I'm going to go back again. Roe was very clear on what they did. We want the restoration of Roe, and that's the position we're taking.
Governor, I want to talk about the state of Michigan. It's close to a must-win, if not a must-win, and there's a sizable Arab American population there that we've had reporting on our show. They're hesitant to support you and Kamala Harris for president and vice president because of your support for Israel's continued war on Hamas and Gaza and all the civilian casualties that have come with it. If you could speak directly to those voters right now, what would you say?
Yeah, I did speak with many of them. I met with them when I was in Michigan the other day, and we're meeting with folks across the country. I said, look, the United States has been clear. We stand with Israel's right to defend itself. And what happened on October 7th of last year, a Hamas terrorist attack, was unconscionable. We need to end this conflict. We need to return the hostages. And we need to make sure that the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is brought to an end. And the way we do that is by building the coalition in the Middle East, something the vice president is capable and has done.
Maybe like a accord of the Abrahamic variety. I was thinking another brilliant guy came up with that. His name was Jared Kushner. It's just like he's on fire whenever he talks about like defending trans people, defending women's right to choose, defending progressive policies that will help the working class. And then like he just turns on bot mode. The moment that you ask him about like Israel, or the moment you ask him about like shit that he has to defend because he's, you know, attached to the campaign, the moment that he has to defend stuff that you can tell his heart is not in. And by the way, this doesn't absolve him of anything, for the record. I'm just letting you know. I do not consider this to be like he is just as morally culpable when he assumes right-wing positions for one reason or another. Okay? I'm simply showing you that like he is presented when the opportunity arises where he has to be like a bot, he sucks. He sucks. He's just not good. He's not good on this issue. And I don't know if you could be good on this issue. Like it's one of those things where you're coping as hard as you did with Fetterman. Come on, dude. No, I'm already saying that there is no this does not absolve him of anything. But like there is a very distinct messaging gap between shit that he cares about and shit that he has to say that he doesn't really care about. Not caring about it, by the way, is still bad. Okay? You should care about it. You should care about the ongoing genocide. Like, what do you mean?
Making sure that Iran, that is at the center of all of the things that are happening, is contained. Once again, something that Donald Trump did not do and allowed them to move closer to a nuclear weapon. So I think the message here is for those folks is...
It also eats away at his, like, political capital, right? Because when you're talking about, like, yeah, we must put an end to the Ayatollah regime in Iran or whatever the fuck you're saying, you just come across like a regular fucking dog shit politician in a suit. You know what I mean? Like for all of his faults and for all of his messaging surrounding Israel, Palestine with Bernie Sanders, like Bernie Sanders doesn't fucking take it to this degree. Him and I might have disagreements on some of his genuinely held beliefs in terms of like Israel's right to defend itself or how history started on October 7. Hamas started this. Like Bernie says stuff like that, and I disagree with it. But like, think about the way that he communicates on this stuff. You won't, like, Bernie does not spend any fucking moment, regardless of our disagreements on this issue, Bernie does not spend any moment being like, you know, this is actually valid. Like, Israel is behaving in a valid manner and we just want to do a ceasefire, shut the fuck up. He will very openly communicate the inhumane disaster that Israel has created in Gaza. Like, he will just say it straight up. I think that's a big difference between guys like Kamala Harris and people like Bernie Sanders, guys like Tim Walz here. And it's kind of crazy because, like, the exit ramp, the liberal Zionist exit ramp was there from the jump. You know what I mean? The liberal Zionism exit ramp was literally there from the jump. Like, they could have done that on October 10. You know, they could have been like, Netanyahu's administration is far right, in the tank for Donald Trump. We will not be aligning with them on their bloody campaign. You know, but they never took it. They never took it, and they still haven't taken it. And it's crazy. Crazy that there's just like that's an exit ramp for them. Walz and Harris have to take this position. There's no choice. ADL will go full offensive if not. I think a lot of you guys are greatly overestimating the amount of genuine political power institutions like the ADL now hold, okay? This isn't fucking 2014, okay? This isn't. They're too busy taking down, like, Twitch streamers and shit, or taking down an ad where someone was wearing a keffiyeh on a weather.com ad. You are underestimating their power. No, I am not underestimating their power. Okay? I'm not. There's still a tremendous amount of political capital or a tremendous amount of movement that they can launch in terms of like disrupting or freaking out like corporate executives or whatever. But having said all of that, I think the broader public does understand it. There are plenty of people in newsrooms that understand it, that understand the situation. They can see right from wrong. Trust me, I know better than anybody else. Like, guys, the defense of Israel aside, what really, in my opinion, was a pivotal point for a lot of the ways that like even people in the media look at the ADL, a turning point for them was when Jonathan Greenblatt defended Elon Musk's unhinged anti-Semitic screeds that Elon Musk had seconded, right? The idea that like Jews had done unrestricted immigration from the third world, black and brown people that are barbaric, into the United States of America. Jonathan Greenblatt went to Elon Musk and said, you know, do the thing. Like, go and say you're pro-Israel, go visit Israel, and we'll clear your fucking name and we'll clear your reputation. It was so fucked up. It was so fucked up that the former president of ADL was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you so focused on ADL, though? I'm not. Chat is bringing the ADL up. These institutions no longer have the motion that they once had. ADL staffers dissented after CEO compared Palestinian rights groups to right-wing extremists, leaked audio reveals. Anyway, plus Trump constantly evokes Hitler and they have no smoke ever for him. Yeah, that's another part. That's another part of the problem.
Is that there's one ticket here that is going to find the pathway to stabilization in the Middle East, but also one that is going to respect their human rights here, push back against Islamophobia, make sure that they have the right to fully engage in our system here.
Governor, in a recent CBS News poll, we found that there is a sizable gender gap when it comes to men as far as this presidential race is concerned. And Kamala Harris, she did not go on Joe Rogan, which, you know, she can decide to do that or not. But I want to ask you, what would you say to men right now, regardless of where they sit on the political spectrum? What is your message to them as we close in on the election day?
Yeah, several things. First of all, for the women in their lives that they love, their wives, their daughters, their partners, whoever it may be, this election really, their lives are at stake. This issue of watching maternal mortality rates skyrocket in states like Texas is simply unacceptable. And then make sure that they're focused on things like the manufacturing jobs coming back. Donald Trump lost more manufacturing jobs than almost any other president. We're seeing the resurgence of that. We're seeing a renaissance in opportunities for families. And then I would tell those men too, just like women, tackling things like gun violence in our schools, protecting their little ones, are things that are on men's minds. So I would ask them all to take a look at the issues on how it most impacts you, how it impacts the women in your lives, how it impacts a future where we can solve these problems together and then make the choice. And Vice President Harris is giving us that new way forward.
So, Governor, why is that message to men, and you could go back to the prior question, the message to Arab Americans in Michigan, why is it not working?
Well, I think it is working, and on Election Day, it will work when we win this election. And look, folks are going to make up their mind about different issues, but it's become clear as Donald Trump spirals, while Donald Trump is unserious about solving real
Yeah, I mean, good luck on that front. Good luck explaining that.
Issues. People are paying attention and they're hearing this message. That's why folks like the United Auto Workers and unions across this country are saying, if you want to make sure you have stability in your family, the opportunity to own a home, protecting your health care, you're going to vote for Kamala Harris. And that will start to take. And at the end of the day, as the vice president said last night, we're there for policies that help everyone. She wants to be the president for all America. Men are hearing that message. And over the next 6 days, that will start to solidify.
All right, Governor, I want to end with a question, and this might be the most important one. What do you have to say to the Minnesota Vikings fans out there?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. We miss you too, Nate, just by the way. Look, hold the faith, man. These are good teams. We're going to get this thing done, and there's a lot of excitement.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
What if I...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The crying campaign returns. Okay, we gotta do a little peep into Ben Shabibo. Just a little bit. I need to see what he's gonna say. God, Ben Shapiro got so fucking gutted and eviscerated by like woke students. It was amazing. So good. One of my friends recently was a Jubilee style vid debating Shabibo IRL. Predict what he's gonna say. He's gonna say what everyone has been saying. This is Hillary Clinton's deplorable moments, but for Joe Biden, it's completely unconscionable and unacceptable to call half of the country, 80 million, 90 million, 700 million Americans garbage. You're saying that nurses are garbage. You're saying that your loved ones are garbage. You're saying that mothers of 3 children, all of which were orphaned, are garbage. Okay? It's completely unacceptable. These elitist Democrats are so out of touch with the way that the middle America really believes and the things that middle America wants. You're saying that they're garbage because they want stronger borders and not be mass raped by Guatemalan migrants, you know, which is real and it's happening. Every time you say cry bully, I picture him. Yeah, it's just that they have one weapon, dude. Do we even watch the video? Yes.
If I were to tell you that Joe Biden, the sitting current president of the United States, the head of a party who's routinely called his political opponents enemies of the Republic. He literally did a speech in front of a blood-red Independence Hall suggesting that ultra super MAGA Republicans are effectively traitors to the country. What if I told you the president, who's the head of a party, who's labeled Donald Trump a Nazi and his rally on Sunday a Nazi rally, called half of Americans garbage, because that's exactly what happened. Joe Biden was.
Yeah, because it's true, bitch. It's fucking true. Brandon was right, and he should say it. I'm riding with Biden so hard, dog. Straight up. Straight up.
Is doing some sort of Zoom interview from his basement, and he just drops it right out there. He's on Voto Latino, and he decides that he is just going to call half
Voto
of Americans
Latino.
garbage. That's what he says here, folks. Okay, I'm going to let you listen to it because I will explain to you how the White House and media are trying to spin.
This kind of rhetoric will cost the Democrats the election. Oh, shut up, dude. Shut up. God, they are always running scared. Oh, my Lord. Oh, it's not even just, it's not, it's not even just the Democratic Party that is always running scared. They've also made their base be afraid of like fighting any fight whatsoever. What the fuck are we doing?
This one out. It is honestly, the cover up is as bad as the crime. So what Biden says here is truly an awful thing to say. It's worse than deplorables.
The
It's worse
cover
than
up
better
is
clingers.
as bad
It's
as
worse
the
than any of the
crime.
other times Democrats have labeled their political opponents the trash heap of humanity. This is like the apotheosis of that, and it is a direct outgrowth of believing that Donald Trump is a Hitler figure and all of his followers are actually little brown shirts. Okay, if you keep saying that kind of stuff over and over and over, if you keep saying Trump is a Nazi and that he holds Nazi rallies, it is not a leap from that to his followers are garbage, which is what Joe Biden says right here. But the cover-up is amazing. So first we'll play. I want you to hear for yourself. Here is Joe Biden saying the thing. And this is not a Rorschach test, okay? This is not like a blob on a piece of paper. You can hear clearly what he's saying. There's no doubt what he's saying because it's on tape. Here we go.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Okay, the only garbage I see out there is his supporters. Inflection down. End of sentence. Okay, it's clear what he's saying. He's saying that you, if you support Donald Trump, are garbage. Saying that I am garbage. Everyone who does not support Kamala Harris is garbage. His supporters, Donald Trump's, are garbage. That is the direct quote from Joe Biden. That's what the quote is. There is no other way to read it. But don't worry, the media are going to do their work. The media are going to pretend, I kid you not, that there was an apostrophe in that sentence. Now, I know you're listening thinking, wait.
I thought it was such a weak way to respond to this, by the way. I really do. I really thought that was like a cowardly way to respond to it. And now, of course, the fucking losers are just going crazy over it, you know?
Where's the apostrophe? I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, I'm going to read you the transcript. Quote, just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican I know, the Puerto Rico where I'm from, in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable and it's un-American. It's totally contrary to everything we've done, everything we've seen. Okay, that is 100% fidelity, transcript, directly read by me of what Joe Biden just said. And you heard it yourself. You heard what he said. Here is how the media are attempting to characterize this. Are you ready for this? This is amazing. It's amazing. They are trying to claim that what he actually said, you didn't hear what you heard. What he actually said was the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. Supporter, singular, apostrophe S, is his support. He's trying to say that he's only talking about Tony Hinchcliffe. The only garbage out there is Tony Hinchcliffe's garbage. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable and it's un-American. Okay, so that's how they're going to attempt to reread the transcript. They're just inserting an apostrophe. Now, they didn't reach out to the White House to get comments on whether that's what Joe Biden meant. They just said that. It was Jonathan Lemire over at Politico, attempting to just rewrite the thing you just heard.
I've seen far more people on the ground hand waving this because they agree with Biden. I think a lot of people forget that Donald Trump was almost assassinated and the polls did not move. The only thing that moved the polls was Kamala Harris coming out and tacking to the center and rushing to be just like Joe Biden over and over again. People do not like Donald Trump. People do not like Trump's supporters. They are fucking annoying. They believe garbage shit. Okay? I don't know how else to describe this to you. There are many people who are 100% embarrassed to go out and vote for Kamala Harris, who are quietly doing that while simultaneously they're not saying anything. They're not public about it. They're not saying shit. They're not saying a shit ton, but they see what Donald Trump has said. They've seen what Donald Trump has done, and they recognize it as truly dangerous. Okay? That's it. All of this confirms the idea that there are a bunch of people out there who abso-fucking-lutely believe Donald Trump is garbage, because he is. The entire island of Puerto Rico does not deserve to be called garbage. Okay? Puerto Rico is in the position that it's in because of the United States of America. It's an American territory that is undermined and underserved at every fucking step. Donald Trump, on the other hand, has done quite a bit to be called garbage, and many worse things than garbage. Much worse things than garbage. That's it. That's the problem. Yes, of course, you can try to remove the context over and over and over and over again from this situation. Except for Jeff Bezos, it moved it for him. No, dog. Jeff Bezos knows where his bread is buttered. The reason why he did not want to fucking endorse Donald Trump, or endorse Kamala Harris, or his newspaper to endorse Kamala Harris, is because he has defense contracts. He likes Donald Trump, most likely, and he doesn't want Donald Trump to, come after him. These are some weird mental gymnastics. If someone can be used in favor of political campaign, it will be used in favor of political campaign that is 2 + 2. These are some weird mental gymnastics. You think I cannot be more clear about this. I cannot be more clear about this. Donald Trump has said a metric ton worse shit than calling Kamala Harris and Kamala Harris's supporters garbage, okay? Every single Republican at a certain point has been like, Democrats are the real threat in this country. They must be purged violently. We must use the military to purge them. Like, Donald Trump literally said he believes the real enemy is from within. The radical left, Democrats like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi, we must use the military and the police. What the fuck do you mean? What the fuck do you mean? Like, all that stuff is perfectly fine, but then saying the guy saying those things and the people believing those things are garbage is not fine. Get the fuck out of here.
The sentence doesn't even make any sense along those lines. It doesn't make any sense. If you read it that way, say they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporter, apostrophe is his supporters. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable and it's un-American. I mean, that he wasn't even talking about, like, that doesn't make any sense. Either he's an incoherent, senile old man and he can't finish proper sentences, or he meant precisely what he said, which is Donald Trump's supporters, plural, are garbage. There's only one way that sentence makes any sense, and that is without the apostrophe. Every single year when Apple releases the new iPhone, the big carriers play that same old game.
Oh my God. And then he's going to move on.
That is not garbage. So there are 10 Biden from himself. So Joe Biden immediately picks up on this and he tweets out, earlier today, I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at that rally don't reflect who we are as a nation. That is not true. That is not what he said. I'm sorry that tape exists to Joe Biden. I'm sorry that is what? Okay, so they're just rewriting in real time. Clearly rewriting in real time. What is happening right there? I don't believe him. You know who else doesn't believe him? Josh Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, who's overlooked as Kamala Harris's vice presidential pick because he's a Jew. Here was Josh Shapiro yesterday saying, I don't believe that. That's what? Like that meant what? No.
Governor, first off, just what's your response to that comment from President Biden, where it sounds like he's calling Trump supporters there garbage?
Yeah, look, I had not heard that until now, Caitlin, so I'm kind of giving you my fresh reaction to it. I would never insult good people of Pennsylvania or any Americans, even if they chose to support a candidate that I didn't support.
So Kamala Harris is for sure not going to say that. Josh Shapiro is a clever politician. He is skilled, he is able, and he's in a purple state. Kamala Harris is not going to denounce Joe Biden. She won't.
I said to my dad how funny it is that conservatives expected to believe that in an otherwise bumbling mess, the one moment where Biden was perfectly cogent and completely understandable is when he said Trump supporters are all garbage. Like, even they can't possibly believe that. Yeah. Does this guy not know how English works? Supporters, possessive? It doesn't matter. There's no reason to fucking try and make sense of a bumbling old man and what he was actually trying to say. It doesn't fucking matter. Please, don't play their games. Do not play the games of Republicans here. Okay?
Because she's afraid of Joe Biden and she's afraid of the base of the Democratic Party, who actually do believe that Trump supporters are garbage.
Yeah. Because they are. You are.
Again, you can't argue for years on end, for going on 10 years, that Donald Trump is Hitler, that everyone who goes to a Donald Trump rally is a red-hatted Nazi, but that his supporters are kind, generous, good people. That is not an argument you can make. This is the feature, not the bug. This is part and parcel of the entire Democratic agenda. People who support Donald Trump, according to Joe Biden and most of the id of the Democratic Party, they themselves are garbage. That's what he's saying. I'll play the clip again, okay? See if you can spot the apostrophe in this clip. I want you, seriously, I think it's important because the media are lying to you. The same way they lied for 3 years about this guy's health and then told the truth for 2 weeks just to get him out of the race and then started lying again. They are lying to you right now. When they tell you there's an apostrophe in the sentence, I'm going to play you the clip. Play the clip. You decide whether there's an apostrophe in the sentence. And he's talking about singular Tony Hinchcliffe with an apostrophe.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable, and it's un-American.
Why would he even say his supporters? Why wouldn't he just say Tony Hinchcliffe's or the comedians or this guy's? It's clear.
I don't know, maybe because the campaign invited him and also read through. Not only did the campaign invite him, but also read through his statements and even offered some feedback. Offered some feedback on what he said that was a bridge too far, like calling Kamala Harris a cunt. That was enough. That was not acceptable. Implying that they saw the Puerto Rico joke and were like, that's hilarious. Let's keep it going. Maybe also because a lot of the things that Tony Hinchcliffe said in his supposed stand-up bit was, things that are in line with the things that Trump and Trump supporters believe.
What he's saying. It's perfectly obvious what he's saying. But Politico trying to spin their way out of it. It's an amazing lie that they're trying to spin their way out. Again, I'm going to use this from now on. Like, seriously, this is gentlemen all over the landscape. Apparently, this is a get out of the jail free card.
All right, we're moving on from this. Kamala Harris held a message of unity, delivered a message of unity last night in the same location former President Trump held his January 6th rally. Okay? Which is ironic because then the garbage thing also popped off and Republicans grabbed onto that like for dear life. Okay? I didn't like the unity speech because I don't think we should be uniting with these fucking freaks. Okay? I think we should beat these freaks. We should beat these freaks and not adopt their framework, not adopt their policies, not adopt their language. That's just my take. What the fuck do I know? Okay? But of course, this was yet again another instance where people were like, well, it's not for me, but I'm sure it's for someone else out there. It's not for me, though.
Let's begin with the race for the White House. The candidates are tearing through the battleground states in the final stretch. Vice President Harris hitting 3 today, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Former President Trump also hitting North Carolina and Wisconsin today.
Harris delivered a closing argument and speech at the Ellipse near the White House last night. That is, of course, where Donald Trump gave his speech on January 6, 2020. Tens of thousands in the crowd. Donald Trump defended his Madison Square Garden rally, calling the event a love fest. Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce starts us off with the highlights of the vice president's speech. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Georgia. This was quite a scene last night. Kamala Harris making her final pitch before a crowd of 75,000, according to her campaign. And she framed this election as a fundamental choice, arguing Trump will bring more chaos and division. And Harris made an appeal to unity, urging Americans to stop pointing fingers and start holding arms. Good evening, America! Overnight, Vice President Kamala Harris making her closing argument before her largest crowd yet.
This election is more than just a choice between two parties and two different candidates. It is a choice about whether we have a country rooted in freedom for every American or ruled by chaos and division.
The location, no accident. Harris speaking at the exact same site where Donald Trump addressed his supporters before they attacked the Capitol on January 6th.
We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Harris laying out the events of that day to argue Trump can't be trusted to hold.
Once again, when Republicans say stuff like this, that's just funny things. Come on. Why would you take that seriously? Oh, how did this happen? How did January 6th happen? It was Antifa. And also, simultaneously, these are brave patriots that are political prisoners, even though they're Antifa and they must be released, even though they're Antifa and also dangerous commie terrorists that did this. It wasn't my supporters, even though I told them at my rally we should fight like hell after priming them up to do unhinged shit. Yeah, when Trump says anything, it's just jokes, man. Why the fuck do you care about this? Okay? When Democrats respond, it's like, this is the worst thing that has ever happened. The real 9/11 is when Joe Biden called Trump supporters garbage. Like, come on, dude. Come on.
Hold office again.
You have a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, meaning 50% of the country, a civil war is bound to happen. What the hell? Drunk again, boozed up. You have a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. Oh my God, we are so firmly back in like 2017, 2018 right now. We are so back. Boys, we are so back. I love that. I love me some hogs. Thank you. Thank you for coming back here and giving us refreshing perspectives like you have Trump derangement syndrome. First of all, 50% of the country are not Trump supporters. Okay, let's just that out of the way. Secondly, I'm sure there are some Trump supporters out there who are voting because they're just like vibes based and they don't give a shit about all the unhinged things that Donald Trump says. Okay. Having said that, however, yes, at this stage, if you are still pro-Trump, yeah, you're fucking bad. You're a bad person. Or at the very least, you don't give a fuck about a person that is doing horrible shit. Hogs are better than drama perverts. At least these people have fun. Yeah. Donald Trump literally said, vote for me this one last time. You won't ever have to vote again. Donald Trump literally said he's going to sick the military and the police on Americans that he considers the enemy from within. Donald Trump has said he's going to do concentration camps with mass deportation policies for what he claims is 20 million people. All of these policies are horrifying. Donald Trump refused to concede that he lost the election and did January 6th. January 6th was kind of funny, but like that doesn't change the dynamic that he still tried to do that shit. Donald Trump is straightforward a fascist. People in his close orbit have considered him to have fascist allegiances. They've come out and spoken out against Donald Trump, consistently saying how much he thinks he should have generals like Adolf Hitler, for example. These are like, sure, a hyper focus on this stuff because it's like so optics focused is a little liberal. Okay. It's like lib shit to a certain degree. I don't care about that stuff as much as I care about like his actual policies. Mass deportation that's it. It's just a fascist policy.
Damn, this guy's good.